Hey YouTube, what's going on? Just another Saturday. Just doing an update on the tank. I haven't done one in a while, just because, well, you know, life's busy. That and I was just changing some things around, and I wanted to wait until I got the changes done, or at least for the most part done, get things looking a little bit better before I shot an update. So here's what's new. If you look at the previous video that I did, you'll notice that I didn't have all the rocks, all the river rocks laying on the substrate. I went fishing a couple weeks ago and I collected a huge bucket full, and I kind of gone through it and sorted them out from which ones were you know, solid rock and which one were kind of like sandstone or sediment rock that, you know, kind of dissolve in your hands. So I had to go sort through that. About half the bucket was basically sandstone, and I just didn't want to put that in here because it dirty up the water, continually dissolved until finally they were gone anyway. So so I took these rocks, I boiled them, boiled them for about 15 minutes until I knew that they were, any parasites or bacteria or whatever that could be on them was dead, and then put them in here, and the fish seemed to really enjoy it. I've added some new fish, and I've also discovered some things about the fish that were already in here since the last video. I had previously been under the impression that the majority were spot fin shiners, but I'm finding out that there's just a couple of them. Most of them are, I mean, there's quite a few spot fin shiners in here. I mean, I knew about, there's 4 red fin shiners, and then I thought the rest were mainly spot fin shiners, but I'm coming to find out that I've got a couple that just don't quite, that look just a little bit different, and the longer I have them, the more I'm starting to notice that they're not spot fin shiners. There's one right here, and I don't know if I can get a good shot of him, but right here in front of the log, that guy right there, I'm thinking he's an emerald shiner. I'm not 100% on that. Oh, there he is. Yeah, there's a spot fin shiner. Anyways, I'm thinking he's an emerald shiner. I'm not 100% certain. I'm still digging through the Peterson's Field Guide to make sure, but I'm thinking it's an emerald shiner. Those are pretty abundant around here. Anyways, I've added some new fish since the last video. I ordered some from Zimmerman's Fish. And those of you native people that order fish online know of Zimmerman's Fish, but if you haven't checked them out before, if you're interested in native tanks, don't like the idea of collecting them, or aren't sure about the laws in your area for collecting, check them out, zimmermansfish.com. Good fish in there. Anyways, he had some, I've been wanting to put some darters in here, and he had some on his website that called Iowa darters, and they're supposed to be perfect for the planted tank. Most darters like the fast moving streams, stuff with a lot of current, ton of current moving through it. And I've got a fair bit of current in this tank, but I was looking for something that didn't necessarily need that real strong current rushing over the bottom. And so I ordered 10, and he sent me 12 of these little Iowa darters, and I'll see if I can get a close-up of a couple of them. Hold on just a second. There we go. Here's one of the Iowa darters. I think this might be a female. Anyways, they hang out at the bottom. They've been eating shrimp pellets pretty well. Yeah, just a really cool looking fish. They've been checking out the glass, you know, going around the glass, checking out the edges or whatever, trying to swim out for a while because I just put them in just a couple days ago. But anyways, really cool looking fish. Just think they're just really neat looking. Yeah, I may try and get a couple different species, but for now I'm gonna stick with those. I've actually got some I've actually got some southern red-bellied dace that are going to go into this tank eventually. Right now they're in my quarantine tank. The post office mishandled the package, and they were just, I mean, it came later than it was supposed to, and I just the package, they were just really stressed out when they got here. So I put them in the quarantine tank in case they got ick or something like that, just to be safe. The darters looked just fine. They didn't seem to be any problems. So I wasn't too worried about putting them in here. I know I should have put them in the, I know most people recommend putting them in a quarantine tank regardless, but they look fine. They looked healthy, even after, you know, an extra day in the postal system. But anyways, so yeah, when I'm gonna give them a couple weeks or so in the quarantine tank, and I'll put the red belly daces in here. But yeah, tank's doing pretty good. Plants are looking good. I did have to take out some plants because they just, for some reason, they just all died off. Notice right back here, I had some Ludwigia glandulosa or peruensis or something like that. Not sure how to pronounce it. Anyways, I had some of that back there, and it just fell apart, never came back, just looked disgusting. Not a single one of the stems made it. You know, I know Ludwigia has a tendency to melt pretty bad and drop a lot of leaves in shipping. In fact, I mean, most of the plants that I have, I've had to, you know, I've had to trim off probably half of them, trim them up just because, you know, they'll, the roots will, or the base will die off or something like that, and then, you know, just the, I have to replant it or whatever, retrim it, replant it. Dropped a lot of leaves from all this Ludwigia, but this stuff was just, it just fell apart and never came back. So I just pulled it all up. You know, oh well. The rest of the Ludwigia is doing fine. You know, this stuff over here is doing pretty good. I've got some Ludwigia palustris in the front, which I don't know. It's really hard to tell, but anyways. Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell with this. They look a lot alike, except just a little bit different leaf shape. Yeah. Anyways, tank's doing really well. Just really excited about it. Love the new fish. Love the way it's coming together. A lot of air bubbles and stuff all over the tank because I just did a water change. I refill the tank instead of, I used to do buckets. And for those of you that have multiple tanks, you know that buckets can be just an absolute headache and backache real quick. But when we moved, my tanks are in the basement now, and so I've got a spigot down here, and so I just hooked up a hose to that, and so I refill my tanks using the hose. Well, the hose just kicks out, you know, thousands upon thousands of micro bubbles, and the tank is just full of them. All the plants have them on the leaves. You can see the moss up there up top. Still has a ton of them, a ton of micro bubbles right there. I mean, you just see it, and that's what the whole tank looks like for quite a while afterwards. So, anyways, yeah, just did the water change today. So, anyways, yeah, this is the tank. I really like how it's coming together. Been thinking about ordering some more plants. Obviously, keeping with the native theme. Thinking about ordering some dwarf hairgrass and some cardinal plants, Lobelia cardinalis. Putting those in here. Putting the Lobelia cardinalis in front of the, putting a couple of them in front of the sword to just kind of hide the base of the sword plant, the Radican sword. Just to see how that looks, see how they fill in there, and then just putting some dwarf hairgrass down in front of the driftwood over here on the right, and just using it to kind of fill in the rest of it. I've got dwarf sage that want to get that to fill in. It's starting to bounce back a lot better now, but I'm thinking the dwarf hairgrass will fill in carpet a lot better than the dwarf sage will. So yeah, I might be ordering that in the next couple weeks. But, anyways, that's the tank. This is how the tank looks right now. Things look pretty good. Here, I'll show you. Got another darter up here. There we go. I don't know if the camera's going to focus on him or not. Oop. Anyways, thanks for watching. So, have a great weekend. All right, later.